Hearings are streamed live to YouTube, so anyone from the public can tune in and watch if they would like. All right, and let's see. Last thing I need to do is read through our hearing script. This basically just covers the procedure for the hearing today, and then we'll jump right into it. So this is the December 8th, 2021 session of the Zoning Hearing Examiner docket. My name is David Sturkey. I'm the Zoning Hearing Examiner for the City of Cincinnati, and I'll preside over this hearing. The case before us today is case number ZHUV210015. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or opposing party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. Unless a party is opted to submit evidence or testimony in the form of writing prior to this hearing, the hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. If there were anyone here from the public, they would have an opportunity to present after the applicant had presented its case. And I'll also give zoning plans examiner Wes Menzel an opportunity to testify if he would like. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to an application, the applicant shall have an opportunity to rebut that testimony and or argument offered in opposition. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make any closing statements. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make any comments. I may also refuse to consider hearsay testimony. That generally means testimony you'd like to introduce that consists of statements made by someone who is not present at this hearing. In the event of any technical difficulties or unforeseen circumstances with the video conferencing technology, I may continue or postpone this hearing, and that'll be at my discretion. I'll do my best to troubleshoot any issues on the fly, but if there's something that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with the hearing, I may continue or postpone it. Okay, last thing I need to do is just swear in all of our witnesses. So you look like you've been through the drill before. Okay, Wes, if you could just unmute. You solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Yes.
Okay, yes. Great. All right. Well, Ms. Deal, the floor is yours.
Okay. In an essence, in an effort to save time, I'll try to be as brief as possible and make sure that I cover everything because it is a public hearing. The property located at 5050 Madison Road is zoned RM 2.0 and occupied by the Cincinnati Children's Home. This is a uniquely shaped lot that occupies over 27 acres and fronts on 3 streets: Madison Road, Red Bank Expressway, and Duck Creek Road. There are multiple buildings on this property, and the Children's Home takes children in on an emergency basis from all over the region. The illuminated signs are necessary because this property does not serve just the immediate area, but children do come from other cities and from the tri-state area. The Children's Home serves over 15,000 children a year, and the intake department for all of these children is at this location in Cincinnati. In addition, we partner with the Cincinnati Health Department, who manages the federally qualified health center, the Levine Center, at this location. This is located on campus and is open 5 days a week. We also recently opened a pediatric mental health urgent care facility that is at this location. And that is used to divert patients who are in crisis from hospital emergency rooms. So the signage here you can see is critical to get the children the help that they need immediately. This location is staffed by licensed clinicians and a City of Cincinnati police officer, as well as having psychiatrists on call. Currently, this program is open until 10 p.m., so you can understand why illuminated signage is necessary. And the entrance for this program is off of Duck Creek, whereas GPS technology would take motorists to Madison Road. This particular location needs to have illuminated signage for people that are coming from outlying areas. The first client that we recently received into this program was referred to us from Dayton Children's Hospital. So you can see those people were not familiar with the area. They had to bring a child from Dayton Children's Hospital to their facility, and they needed to be able, under distress, with a child who needs mental health care under distress, they need to be able to navigate their way in the dark to a facility, and that is this facility at the Children's Home. We are seeking sign variances in response to Exhibit 1, which was submitted with our submission, which includes the denial letters dated September 13th from 2021. The denial letters that were submitted, there are 2 of them. There is sign A and sign B. Sign A, the denial letter indicates that this variance is needed for sign A because it exceeds the height allowed, and that it exceeds the size allowed. Sign B indicates that a variance is needed because it is an LED, internally illuminated changeable copy sign, and it needs a height variance and it needs a square footage variance. The mental health and behavioral health testing that's available at this location and the pediatric urgent care that is available at this location would be advertised on that changeable copy sign. The changeable copy sign would be used for generic messages like the children's home since 1864, or the changeable copy messages would include welcome to Madisonville. They would be messages that would not flash or scroll. They would be very static in nature, being used merely to make sure that the public is aware of these services and the presence of these services in this location. The variances are sought from section 1427-33. Respectfully, the applicant, the children's home, is looking for the approval of 2 monument style signs that are in Exhibit 2, labeled as Sign A and Sign B. The variances are as follows. A height variance of 5.8 foot to allow for a monument sign that is 11.8 foot. That is Sign A. Sign B, a height variance of 2.8 foot to allow for a monument sign that is 8.8 foot tall. Sign B, a changeable copy sign that will allow for a sign that is 25.3 square foot, which is a 5.3 square foot variance from the allowance. And then Sign B, a use variance to allow the proposed LED internally lit changeable copy sign. I have enumerated in my submission the criteria for variances. Would you like me to continue with that criteria?
Is this just responding directly to the criteria in the code?
Yes.
Why this is appropriate?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm happy to hear that.
Okay.
So yeah, please.
And for the public, I will run through the criteria that was in my submission. There will be no adverse effect on existing and projected traffic volumes in the neighborhood. Signs exist for motorist safety, and obviously these signs exist for motorists to be able to navigate their way to a destination under distress, in the dark, unfamiliar with the area. The current and future need for the proposed use in the city of Cincinnati will not be affected because this area is an existing business manufacturing zone where other signs of this size and nature exist. The character of the existing neighborhood and the effect of the proposed signs on the use of existing properties will not be negatively impacted. Signs already exist. The proposal is consistent and compatible with the surrounding uses. The proposal is consistent with the intent of the City of Cincinnati sign ordinance and the public interest and all other provisions of the law and ordinance of the City of Cincinnati. The signs already exist here, and signs of this height already exist at other locations. The proposed sign will have a positive impact on the proposed use, as well as the peace and enjoyment of people in their homes by reducing any traffic-related incidents that could occur when people cannot find their destination safely. There will be no probable effect of noise or glare upon uses of surrounding properties. The lighting is minimal, and it would be no more than the streetlights that exist in this area. There will be no probable effect of noise or glare, and the proposed use would not cause deterioration of the area and the neighborhoods, but rather enhance the use of this property, as well as the services that are offered here to the citizens of the community, as well as outlying areas. In the Cincinnati Municipal Code, there are findings of fact that need to be demonstrated in section 1445-16. The property, can it be put to good, economical, viable use? The property is occupied by the Cincinnati Children's Home that has been in existence since the 1800s. The signs are not for financial gain. They're not for promoting a profit business. This is a nonprofit organization and a leading provider of educational and mental health treatment for children facing severe and significant social, behavioral, and learning challenges. The signs do not contribute to financial gain. This is not an economic-based request. The variance request stems from a condition that may be unique to the property that's not ordinarily found in the zoning district. This property is large. It contains multiple buildings. It occupies 3 street frontages. The shape of the property is unique. It's not always found in the zoning district. The 3 street frontages are unique. This property is not like others in the zoning district. The function and use of the property is unique. The property is an educational and mental health facility. The need for signage that is visible to those that are traveling along Red Bank and Madison and Duck Creek is essential for the people that are trying to find their way here. The hardship condition is not created by the actions of the applicant. The applicant did not create this hardship because the lay of the land is existing. The multiple street frontage are existing. The unique shape of this very over 27 acres lot is existing. The charity that exists here is funded through donors and charitable contributions, many of which come from partners in the community. Visibility in the community is necessary for this nonprofit to continue to thrive. The strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties and undue hardship to the use of the property. The signs notify citizens and motorists of the Cincinnati Children's Home. Strict application of the law can create practical difficulties for citizens of the community and transient motorists that are exiting from I-71 that are searching specifically for this destination, but cannot see the main entrance that is along Madison Road or the processing entrance that is along Duck Creek. They cannot see those entrances from Red Bank Expressway. The property.
I'm sorry, Ms. Deal, to interrupt you. Is the Duck Creek entrance, is that at 5051 Duck Creek?
It's at the back of the property, yes.
Near Eastwood Drive?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to verify that was the only entrance on Duck Creek. And
that's fine. So when motorists are coming and they're coming off of I-71, they're coming down Red Bank Expressway, they're looking for Duck Creek, they're looking for Madison Road, and it's a very large property that's not necessarily, the buildings of the children's home that are along Madison are not visible from Red Bank, but that is where all of the primary traffic is most likely going to come from because they're exiting from 71. So when GPS technology is taking them to this area, it's not always going to take them exactly where they need to be. And so the signage is necessary, and not everybody uses GPS. Let's be honest. It's a practical difficulty that's created from an assumption that people think everybody has access to technology, but not everybody has access to that technology. And not everybody has a cell phone. You have to think of the socioeconomic status of the people that are potentially searching for this location. They may not have the affordability to access those things, and they may solely be relying on somebody saying, there will be a sign on the corner of, turn there. And so these signs are absolutely necessary. The signs notify citizens and motorists that the children's home is at this location. The granting of the variance will not adversely affect the rights of adjacent property owners or residents. The signs requested are consistent with other signs in the general area, and the value of adjacent properties are not affected by this request. This particular location has over 700 feet of frontage along Red Bank Expressway, and the signs are positioned 650 feet apart. So it is necessary to have 2 signs rather than 1 sign. It's pointless to do just 1 sign, and both signs are not necessarily visible from each other to the average motorist. And there's a considerable amount of traffic along Red Bank. So it's the probability of one or the other sign being blocked and not being visible from the other vantage point is highly likely. The granting of the variance will not adversely affect the community character, public health, safety, or general welfare. The signs requested are necessary for motorists to find the location, to prevent confusion, and ultimately prevent any potential vehicular accidents. That is in the best interest of the public's health, safety, and welfare. But the signs are also regarding a semi-public institutional use that is well established within the community, and it is necessary for that public use to have adequate signage. The variance will be consistent with the general spirit and intent of the zoning code. The sign ordinance allows for signs of this nature to exist. The request is in harmony with other signs in the city. Due to a large volume of transient traffic from nearby highways, a lack of signage can cause confusion. This is a safety and welfare issue, and the safety and the welfare of the community is important. The variance is definitely inconsistent with the overall intent of the ordinance. The electronic changeable copy would be positioned along the existing monument sign on the corner of Red Bank and Duck Creek. The other sign will be placed on the corner of Red Bank and Madison. These signs need to be legible at posted speed limits and during peak traffic times where congestion may block the view of the signs. The variance that is sought is the absolute minimum that is necessary to accomplish this. Respectfully, we are requesting a variance again as follows: a height variance for sign A to allow a sign that's 11.8 feet tall, a height variance for sign B to allow a sign that is 8.8 feet tall, a changeable copy variance for sign B to allow a changeable copy sign that's 25.3 square feet, and a use variance to allow an LED internally illuminated changeable copy sign for sign B. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you very much, Ms. Deal. So I'm just trying to see. So the variance on each of these is 2 to 3 feet, right? In terms of the height increase. Okay.
Yes.
6 feet is the limit. Okay, so I agree with you. I think this makes sense. I think it's obviously a critically important service and wayfinding. I think all of your points are well taken. One thing I'm struggling with a little bit: why is the LED sign necessary for wayfinding, where a static sign couldn't accomplish the same thing?
Because when you start trying to outline all of the services that are available at this facility, the Levine Health Center, the mental health availability, the recent urgent care opening, that starts shrinking down the copy on the face of the sign. So it creates cluster and confusion. And you want to make sure that the members of the community are aware of the services that are available here. And you can't necessarily represent all of those services on one sign face. So the changeable copy sign will allow us to represent those services at different periods of time so that the community can become aware of these services being present while allowing the general exhibition that there is a children's home here. So it allows for the variety of services to be represented, and community events, particularly fundraising events or different things that may be occurring in the community, that can be a public notice center to the community where that information is offered to people that are passing by.
Gotcha. So that is more, the purpose is more aligned towards
Informational.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Thank you. I think that's all the questions I have right now. Wes, anything you wanted to add to your staff report?
No, I think that my staff report's pretty detailed, and she did a great presentation of the proposal. The only thing I would just maybe highlight is the auto dimming condition that we throw in there on these LEDs. So just to see if they're.
And we would be happy to comply with that condition.
Yeah, just so that at night or darker conditions, it's not as glaring out and distracting people as they're driving and such. So we put that in for all of our LED sign variance requests. So, but other than that, I don't have any other comments.
Okay, thanks, Wes. Are there any other examples of these LED signs in this area, even down towards Madison Road?
I think the Parker School across the street has one.
I think across the street on Red Bank or
across Red
what?
Bank, yeah, up along towards the east. I think traded a variance for them for a sign a year or so ago.
Okay, so that let's see.
You typically find these type of LED signs at schools, libraries, fire departments. They're not designed to draw attention to the property. They're designed to provide information about the property usually. And they're fully controllable, so they can be dimmed, they can be static in nature. Almost so the quality of them nowadays is way different than it was, say 5 or 10 years ago. Almost so much that when you look at the image, you almost think you're looking at a paper image. You don't even realize you're looking at a changeable image. They're so crystal clear and fully manipulative. You can manipulate the media any way that you want.
All right. I think that's all the questions I have. Anything else you'd like to provide, Ms. Steele?
No, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so let's see. So I'm going to grant this. This will be approved.
Thank you.
And I think that in particular, the type of service that it's being advertised and the nature of your testimony about people in distress trying to find trying to wayfind is particularly compelling. So I'm going to approve this. My only concern was that, this would open the door for LED signs all along Madison Avenue here. I know there's a lot of development happening, and I don't think that the community wants a ton of electronic signs throughout this business district. So that's my one holdup, but I'm going to grant it nonetheless, because I think that the use of the property, it's necessary to make sure that there's adequate information in wayfinding. So I need to type up that decision in a formal opinion. And so that usually takes about 2 weeks, but knowing that it's approved, if there's any permitting application that you still need to do, that's something you can do in the meantime. But as soon as I have that opinion drafted, I will put it into a PDF. I'll email it to you. You'll have it just moments after it's complete. And as soon as you have that, you can start working with Wes on the necessary permitting approvals.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank both of you for your time.
Sure. Thank you, Ms. Steele.
David,
Yes.
just they've already applied for the permits, so the permits were denied. But I just so you know, Tracy, I can't approve them until David writes his written opinion.
That's fine.
So once
That's
I get
fine.
that,
This isn't my first rodeo. I'm fully aware of the procedure. So
all right.
thank
Good.
you.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Yep. Have a good day. Thank you very much.